What does the world look like for a 17-year-old girl today? How is it different in different parts of the world? And what do 17-year-old girls across the globe have in common? They all have hopes and ambitions for their future. They all have the potential to create change. And they all share the threat of violence, which continues to undermine their dreams. But this story is different. This is Lina's story. Lina is 17 years old. She wakes early and leaves home to walk the short distance to her school. She smiles at the people she passes and waves to her father waiting at the nearby water pump. She feels safe and free. Lina is in her last year of secondary school and will be the second girl in her family to complete it. Like many girls in her village, she plans to go to university next year. She dreams of becoming a solar engineer. Lina arrives at school. The first lesson is history. She opens her book and begins to read. She learns of a world where women and girls faced violence in every country and context. Violence which affected every stage of their lives, stopping them from securing an education, thriving in the workforce, and having choices and control over their own bodies and lives. Violence which halted sustainable progress and peace. A world which Lina finds hard to imagine. She keeps reading. Over the years, thanks to the work of many, evidence grew. The world understood that preventing violence was not just about the individual. It was about looking at the bigger picture, understanding individual behaviour in a social context and addressing change at every level, across individuals, relationships, communities and society. For Lina's community, this change involved everyone. Community activists taught others about unequal power, and couples learned how to build respectful and healthy relationships. Women and families were supported to generate new income through programs and were able to make decisions for themselves. The local women's organisation worked with the community to set up a coordinated essential service and support for survivors. The government introduced effective programs for low-income households so families had less financial pressure, which reduced conflict and improved well-being. City Council worked to make public transportation and markets safe for women and girls. Schools ran sessions on the laws preventing child marriage and violence against children. Parents supported their daughters' choices to continue attending school, and their relationships grew stronger. A local football hero spoke up to end violence against women in a campaign. Women members were elected to the village council, and a national law against domestic violence was implemented. The community came together and said, enough. They took responsibility for enacting change where they could. Women, men, and all people were treated as equals. With community action came transformation through improved systems and structures. Policymakers developed plans and strategies to end violence against women, backed by evidence, budget, and buy-in. Feminist leaders and women's rights organisations received respect, resources, and a seat at the decision-making table. Donors invested in innovative research and supported evidence-based policies and programs across the country. Each of these individual moments might seem insignificant, but together they drove monumental change. People could now express their full selves, and women and girls no longer faced violence in every context and setting. Lina smiles. Changemakers created this world, a world in which all women and girls are safe, respected, and valued. The bell rings. Lina closes her book, safe and free. This story doesn't end here though. We are the changemakers, and violence prevention is happening all around the world. Individuals are building knowledge and skills for healthy, non-violent relationships. Policymakers, practitioners, activists and donors are creating the tools we need to prevent violence against women and men's use of violence. Effective prevention programs are being brought to scale. National action plans are supporting government commitment, coordination and resourcing. Women's rights organisations and movements are driving global agendas for action. Businesses are acting to advance gender equality in their workplaces and beyond. And we have the platforms to work together, to share our learnings and strengthen our knowledge. We know what works to prevent men's violence against women. Now it's time to scale up effective interventions to create lasting global change. The future for all girls can and is changing. Lina's story can be any girl's story, if we have the courage to choose it. So which world do you want to live in? Every person has a role to play. It's time to act. Accelerate impact by investing in women's organisations and movements, including those working on violence prevention. Commit to strategies that are evidence-based, well-costed and well-resourced, such as those in the Respect framework. Take action at all levels through evidence-based and costed strategies and initiatives. Let's not live in the past. Her future is now.